I am Llewellyn, Africa, reside in Cape Town, married, 2 kids, business manager. That is my profession, and I have an interest in lifestyle, sports, and activities.
So, can you share when you were diagnosed with Stargardt disease and how it has impacted your life?
Okay, so when I was diagnosed, the diagnosis came in 2019, but the signs of, let's call it, vision deterioration happened in 2018, which led to a series of ophthalmologist appointments with a series of tests to come to the conclusion in 2019 that I've been diagnosed with Stargardt disease.
So, Llewellyn, what is Stargardt disease?
Stargardt disease is a macular disease. It effectively affects the retina, which is the back of the eye, specific to the central vision. And what Stargardt is, it is like I mentioned, a genetic disease which impacts central vision. What the body cannot do is process the vitamin A vitamin, and so excess dirt, if you will, is left, and that is what kills the cell, and the cell cannot regenerate. So yeah, that's what it is.
What are some of the everyday tasks that have become particularly challenging for you?
Okay, so the everyday challenging task, reading, the most obvious one is driving, no longer able to drive, and just navigating, crossing a road, looking at what the prices are in the grocery store. The list can go on. Identifying the kids when I fetch them from school, being able to identify them. So those are but a few to make mention. One of the other challenges is fetching the kids from school, and when they are doing school activities, sports, not able to see them when they are doing the sport, and so that is one of the challenges. I'm reliant on them looking for me, and so the kids by now know to look out for dad, and so when dad is there, what is important for me is that they see dad and that dad is present there for them. Even though I can't see them, they can see me, and that to me is important.
How has losing your ability to drive affected your independence and daily routine?
It's a big one, losing your independence. If you were to just role reverse, you can think for yourself what that inability does. And so as being a sales rep on the road, driving was important for the role. And so not able to drive impacted the work function. Fortunately, very supportive owners and bosses that made provision for me outside of the driving. And the impact that it has on my family, my wife needing to pick up the slack. And so yeah, that is, it's more than that. If I was to add, if you were to take an emergency, not being able to assist, and so you are very much reliant on other people to do what you once could do. And so that in itself is something to overcome, and I'd like to think I have overcome that. But it will be fantastic to gain some independence back.
How has your condition affected your role as a husband and father?
Yeah, how's it affected me? I'm not able to be the husband or the father to my full potential. There's things that I'd like to do that for obvious reasons I can't do. I'm not able to take my wife out spontaneously because I'm reliant on other people or other modes of transport to do that. I'm not able to take the kids out to do fun activities that the dads would do with the kids. It's to give my wife a break, those simple things. And so that is, yeah, that's the main things, is not being able to do the little things that we as normal people take for granted, losing the ability to have that independence. And so yeah.
What emotions do you experience when facing obstacles others might take for granted?
So fortunately, I'm a silver lining type of guy, and I've worked through my initial emotions of what the disease has taken from me. And so how I operate today is silver linings. I look for the blessings out of the situations. And so, yeah, I just need to repeat that question again. I don't think I answered it the best way I could. So repeat for me quick.
What emotions do you experience when facing obstacles others might take for granted?
Okay, so yeah, just to piggyback on that, I just find the positive out of the negative. I don't allow the negativity to drag me down, because it's not a good space to be in. And so I continually look for the positive things out of any situation.
What regrets do you have because of this condition?
What regrets do I have? It is twofold. I would like to say I don't have regrets, but there is one regret, and that is the impact that this disease has had on my children and my family. They didn't ask for it, and so they're not able to live a fulfilling life based off my inabilities, which the disease has caused. And so our daughter has a talent for gymnastics. We'd love to put in gymnastics, but just the stress of, I would say the magnitude of driving that it takes on my wife to still consider my daughter going to gymnastics. And so those are the regrets. I can't bring my part as a husband, as a father, to give them a fulfilling life. And so that is one of the regrets that I have. But the person I am today is the person I am because of the disease. Had this not have happened, I will not be the person I am today in terms of mindset, grit, determination, perseverance, silver linings. This disease has taught me skills that I ordinarily would not have had. And so listening skills, leadership skills, learning to lead, because I wasn't able to be out on the field. So these are the end, so to say, the pros of this. But the one regret is not allowing my family to have a fulfilling life.
What keeps you motivated to keep moving forward despite these challenges?
What keeps me motivated, it is my family, my children, and that I can become a role model to other people. The fact that I have what I call an invisible disability doesn't inhibit me from doing certain things that able-bodied people can. And so if I'm able to do it, able-bodied people have little to no reason not to fulfill their ambitions, their passions. And so likewise for my children, if dad is able to do it and they have the ability to do it, and so I choose to lead by action, and taking on any challenge and navigating through the challenge, whatever that may be. It's never giving up, but looking for alternates to overcome whatever is presented.
What does this potential treatment in Germany mean to you personally?
Oh, it's life-changing. So the treatment in Germany will allow me the possibility of getting my independence back. It will allow me to achieve so much that one would have thought may have not been possible. And so I'm excited for the possibility and the opportunity. And so this treatment can literally be life-changing, literally.
If your vision is restored, how will your life change, both practically and emotionally?
Practically, how will my vision be impacted? I'll be able to do the daily run around, the school runs, the grocery runs. I'll be able to, from a career perspective, I see massive career elevation. because I'm now able to be independent and execute what is required without being dependent on others. And emotionally, it will make me stronger because I will have a perspective of what was, and I would then be living what can be. And so emotionally, it will strengthen me, but it will give me the context of, what's the word, of empathy.
What message would you like to share with others who are also living with vision impairments?
What I would tell others living with vision impediments is not to give up. It is to put yourself in a positive frame of mind. There's two parts to this. You can go down the rabbit hole into the darkness, or you can choose the light. And I will encourage them to choose the light and look for the silver linings. Surround yourself with people that will motivate you, that will speak life into you. Whatever you are consuming via social media or any other form of media, is let that add and pour into you. And so look for the silver linings.
What inspired you to create this awareness and fundraising campaign?
Well, the funds for the treatment is enormous in my context, and not a lot of people is aware of what Stargardt disease is. Particularly me, I look normal from the outside, but I have the daily challenge. And so is, how do I share with the sighted people my perspective? And so the best way to have raised awareness is to give them a point of view perspective of me. And that film, documentary, short film, what we are doing now is to encourage those that would like to donate, or those who want to support the project, and to bring a greater awareness to vision impediments, because there are those that have impediments that are not obvious. And so, yeah, this is the driver.
So Llewellyn, how would you feel knowing that people are willing to support you in this journey?
It will be fantastic, because you literally have the ability to change somebody's life. And with the lessons that I've learned through this period of living with Stargardts has about strengthened me, and having the ability to have sight that gives me independence, I can do much more to the world, for my family. And so, life-changing.
Last question. What do you want your children to remember about you and how you face this challenge?
What I would like the kids to remember about me and how I face this challenge is that never give up. But whatever challenges come your way, never give up. And I like to think that I am just displaying it in my daily life. And so although Dad has an impediment, to them, Dad is still normal, because Dad is still doing normal things that, although challenging, is not going to trick me. And so, yeah, just repeat that question again for me. I'll get lost.
What do you want your children to remember about how you faced this challenge?
Not giving up, and persevering through whatever Dad faced, and giving them the ability to witness that although Dad had or has challenges, Dad still pursues it. It's not an excuse not to do it. It might be done differently or weirdly, but it gets done, and not making it an excuse.
What are some of the everyday tasks that have become particularly challenging for you?
The everyday tasks that have become particularly challenging for me is reading, crossing the street, looking at my phone, working, reading my laptop. Those, driving being the obvious one. I wouldn't consider, well, that is every day, but the mundane stuff As mundane as it is to you, it becomes a challenge to me. Fetching my kids from school, identifying them in a group of kids, doing activities, them doing activities at school or in the extramural activities and not being able to identify them. Those are but a few things that impacts me daily.
How has your condition affected your role as a husband and father?
How has my condition affected my role as a husband and a father? Not being able to fulfill my role as a husband to the best of what I know my ability is, and not being able to fulfill my role as a father to the best of what I know my ability is. The impediment inhibits me from being the best version of myself. And so,
what message would you like to share with others who are also living with vision impediments?
the message that I would share with those also living with vision impediments is to not give up, is to look for the silver linings in their situation. There's two ways that you can approach this. Is you can go down the rabbit hole, which is the dark side, or you can look into the light and find the positive out of the situation. And so those that are facing vision impediments, I would encourage them to remain positive and look for the opportunities within their situation that can elevate them mentally. Mental toughness when facing such a challenge, vision impediment is challenging because you have people that are judging you. They don't understand the context of how you're operating life. And so when you are looking at your phone close up to your face, when you are needing assistance, when you are getting into the wrong Uber accidentally, you can get judged, and you need mental toughness to get through it and not to let that bring you down.
I am Megan Africa, wife to Llewellyn Africa, mom of two, and I work for a very large retail corporation.
So Megan, how has Llewellyn's condition impacted your family life?
The way that it's impacted our family life has been something that I have been trying to put into words for a long time, but it's not easy. I think that it has impacted the small things like bedtime stories for our children, things like being there, and being able to do the school drop-offs, pickups, etc. But more so, I think it's impacted our family life because it's taken away my husband's independence that limits him to do what he wants to do on a daily basis.
What adjustments did you have to make to support him?
So there's a lot of adjustments we had to make to support Llewellyn and this diagnosis of Stargardt disease. Small things like, dressing the children in bright colored clothing when we go out so that we can easily identify them, not going into crowded spaces where there's chaos so that we could mitigate the risk of him trying to find them. And then small things like just ensuring that they know that they see dad, they call out for dad. And then for me, sometimes as a wife, I say to him, it's just there, it's on the top of the shelf, and take for granted that he can't see it. So I've really had to be very descriptive, asking him to find something. And so, it really has been a few measures we've had to put in place. And, sometimes something as simple as going to a mall, swimming in a pool becomes a lot more complicated. So we tend to avoid any of those sort of things to just ensure that we try to just prevent any sort of worrying around where the kids are, etc.
How do you feel about the challenges he faces daily?
Look, I think it's difficult to really understand the challenges that he faces daily because it's something that I don't experience. But seeing it as a wife, I do admire a lot of how he deals with these challenges. But I think it can only be hard. I can only imagine it being really difficult to have these things you want to do daily and being limited by them. And also I can only imagine that it's quite a debilitating feeling, particularly around wanting to get in the car and go and do something. You know, for many years, Llewellyn loved going to the gym. It was his time away from the house. It was his moment just to do what he wanted to do. And, you know, having that taken away, I can only imagine could have been frustrating and difficult. But in saying that, I think that this has also shifted his perception and perspective to something that has been very positive.
What does this treatment in Germany mean to you and your family?
So this treatment is going to be a life-changing treatment if all goes well, and not if, but I know all will go well. It'll be able to just give him his life back. It will be an opportunity for him to have his independence back, and also just give him the opportunity to do the things that he so badly wants to do. And so this absolutely will change our lives.
How do you keep hope alive for him and the rest of the family?
The way I try to keep hope alive is by celebrating the small things. It's about, you know, when things do go well, taking a moment to acknowledge it. I also think that, you know, I try to keep the hope alive by saying to people that it could have been worse. At least I still have him. He may not be able to see us, but at least he's here. And so it is about being positive and really trying to appreciate the fact that he is still with us, he's still here, he's still around. So that definitely for me is how I get going. It's how I stay positive. It's the fact that he still does everything that he wants to do. And even though it may be limited, but he really does try.
What would it mean to you as his partner to see him regain his vision?
So I think if Llewellyn regains his vision, he'll be unstoppable. I think that he would be able to not only do things for himself, but because he's such a good person, will be doing a lot for others. He's somebody that I do believe people can depend on, and he's somebody that will go the extra mile for others. And so I do think that this, you know, will really just shift who he is, but it will just take him to being somebody that is going to do things that I'll continue to be proud of.
What would you say to people who are considering supporting this cause?
I'd say to people that you are not only going to impact the lives of, or the life of Llewellyn, but you are going to impact the lives of generations to come. You are going to shift the perception of what it is to be disabled and to deal with a disability that is so blind and so invisible, both literally and figuratively. I think people look at him and just think that he's such a normal person. But I want you to know that by supporting this cause, it will create awareness with a lot of other people out there that struggle with this disease daily and that are not able to share their story. But more so, it will educate a lot of people out there around how to treat people who suffer in silence.
How would this treatment not only impact Llewellyn, but also the lives of those around him?
So this treatment will impact Llewellyn's life, yes, but also our kids, me. It will allow us to celebrate small moments and even big moments by being able to do things that a lot of normal people can do, but that he can't. This will also just give a lot of hope to those around him that if you remain positive and focused and determined, that no matter what you want to achieve, that it is possible.
What do you admire most about Llewellyn's approach to life despite his condition?
What I admire most about him is that when he was diagnosed, there was no anger towards me and the kids. He never turned away from God, even though it is something that a lot of people tend to do when going through something so life-changing. I admire his positivity, the fact that he's just always so optimistic. He never let the small things get him down, and that he's always so determined to just make things happen, irrespective of how hard it can be. And that to me is just something that is so inspiring. Last question. Okay.
What does this treatment in Germany mean to you and your family?
This treatment to us will be life-changing. It will mean that Llewellyn gets his life back, his independence back, and the ability to do what he so badly wants to do daily. Our kids will be able to have a dad that can do simple things like reading a bedtime story, being able to go watch LJ's soccer match without having to wonder who he is out there on the field. It really will be able to just give us all the opportunity to just fully live our lives with a dad that just can do and be there, and just allow him to fully live his life, and that he can be there to support our kids through theirs.
Tell us your name.
Llewellyn. I'm Llewellyn, and I'm 10 years old.
So how would you describe what it's like having a dad who can't see like other dads?
Sad, because then he can't do what he can't do with the stuff that he needs to do. So like read something for work, but he can't see it and there's no one to help him.
Okay. And what are some of the things that you notice that dad struggles with?
Reading, seeing the price for the stuff, and seeing for.
Okay. What are your favorite things to do with dad?
My favorite things to do with dad is that he can that we can go out together, that we can fun and take me and him out to places. Like on Monday we were at Woods to eat. We had some nice bonding time, and yeah.
Awesome. How do you feel when you help dad with something that he can't do on his own?
Happy, because then he doesn't have to struggle and doesn't have to get himself embarrassed.
Okay. And if dad could see better, what's the first thing you'd want to do with him?
Take me to Disney. Second place, take me back to that woods.
Okay. And what would it mean to you to see dad able to do things that he hasn't been able to do before?
Because now he doesn't need us to help him. Now he can do it himself.
Okay. And what makes your dad special to you?
That he's strong, that he cares for us, that he will do anything for us, that he helps us with schoolwork and work. And mommy, if she struggles with something, or with Addison, then dad is always there for backup.
Into the camera, that one over there. Could you be standing and say your name? Okay, sit up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
My name is Addison Africa. I'm 6 years old.
Addison, tell me, what are some of the things you see dad struggle with?
Reading books and can't see from far.
So tell me, what are some of your favorite things to do with dad?
Set up the tree and set up like birthday stuff and birthday presents. And sometimes when it's somebody's birthday and you have no glasses, we can judge there when mommy and dad is already there, and we start to say, and I like German with daddy, and I like ride bicycle, and swim with daddy, and I jump with daddy, and sometimes I give him like lovely kisses, like a special kiss.
Thank you, Addison. So tell me, if dad could see better, what is the first thing you'd want to do with dad?
Play hide and seek and play with my and having a sleepover with daddy, with my friend, and I always sleep with him and always kiss him. I always say a prayer about daddy. I always say everything about my dad.
Thank you, Addison. And tell me, if dad could drive, what would that mean to you?
Happy, and
What are the fun things that we can do together?
go to Crossy Park, go to Mossel Bay and go to Woolies and go to Checkers and go buy Checkers minis, and that's all.
Okay, last question. What makes Dad special to you?
That I give him kisses, and that he smiles at me when I miss him, and sometimes I be in his heart every single time, and he be in my heart every time. And I blow him kisses when I go to Bastion and to Pro Kids, and sometimes when I cry every day, and he walks with me. But now I'm a big kid, so I don't cry anymore.
So how you can get involved and follow us is through Facebook, the Vision Will Live project. This is where you can follow the journey. We are heading to Germany. We are going to undergo the treatment in Berlin, and this is where you can get insight into what will be happening, and this is where you will get insight to find out what the updates are after the treatment. This interview that is being done will be available on the YouTube channel, the Vision Will Live project. If you want to get involved, if you want to donate, if you want to if you want to assist people in overcoming obstacles and fueling their dreams, the Vision Will Live project is where we will do social impact initiatives to help those that is unable to afford treatment or specs or certain procedures and make their dreams a reality. So follow us on Facebook, the Vision Will Live project. Follow us on YouTube, the Vision Will Live project. Thank you.